Grandia is such a charming game. A title that embodies the spirit of youthful adventure in a way that very few are able to. Lovable characters are at the forefront, supported by a fun combat system and a fascinating, really strange world. At large, so few people seem to really know about this game. It feels like my own little secret, a personal adventure between me and my Ragazzi, and the intrigue only grows as the adventure nears its climax. Surely I wouldn't stop there, right? Star Ocean 6 is a very interesting game. While far from a perfect experience, it reintroduced a lot of my favorite aspects of the series after having been gone for multiple entries. Solid private actions, a remarkably colorful cast that all have reasons to be in the party, hectic, fast-paced combat, a slightly malleable party composition, and most of all, this guy. Surely I wouldn't get to the final dungeon and stop playing for half a year. That would be silly. You know, I'm serious. Nier Replicant, despite its flaws, ended up being one of my favorite gaming experiences ever. The sheer amount of mystery and magic that bleeds out of every corner of this world had me gripping my seat. Surely I wouldn't quit right at— I don't finish games. I simply buy new games that I don't play at all, as I go back to listening to the bends. For a long time, I've wondered why I and so many other people have such trouble finishing games, outside of time or simply not liking them, of course. I think a big part of it is having to say goodbye. We spend dozens of hours inside a world alongside characters that we grow to care about, digging into subsystems, combat mechanics, anything from Final Fantasy to Kirby is designed to pull you in with at least a minor level of intrigue and attachment, engross you, entertain you. We connect with those worlds in a way we don't connect with the real world sometimes, diving into political tension instead of going to vote. I'll go one step further here, actually. I guarantee that you have more time spent in your favorite game than you do with a lot of your friends. We all know the idea of a comfort character, right? A certain fictional character who brings you immense happiness. Personally, I think of the likes of Klonoa, Nia from Xenoblade 2, and Liam Gallagher. While to many people it seems silly to attach yourself to those who don't exist, people you can never know, in the end it's no different than obsessing over a pop star or an actor. Personalities you enjoy or relate to, but you'll never know personally. When a game's story is really good enough to make you care about its cast in a deep, meaningful way, it can be hard to willingly end that story yourself. Close the book on a group you've grown immensely close to. I know that I had that problem with Xenoblade 2. One of my absolute favorite games ever made. It was such a genuinely wonderful adventure alongside a great cast of characters, and while they don't all get their chance to shine in the main campaign, knowing that Rex and Pyra and Mithra, Nia, their story was going to end was kind of a hard pill to swallow. So I took a break, ran side quests, anything to keep the adventure alive. Do I have commitment issues? I mean, I know I do with people, but do I have them with important stuff like video games? The chances of these characters having their stories expanded upon in the future was extremely thin, and thus it was hard to end it all. And the chances of me actually experiencing the expansion that their stories got is even slimmer when Xenoblade 3 nearly downed me like a dog. Part 2, can't euthanize the horse without collecting its rare horseshoes first. I can't be the only one who does this, alright? In fact, I know, because I asked people. When a game is really hitting hard, you're jiving with all the mechanics and the extra content, diving into the wayward corners of its vast world, or small world. There's another one?! No way. Sometimes that engaged feeling, what should be really awesome, kind of like, the whole point of playing games in the first place, grows into a horror show. Addictive personalities will do crazy things to get their drug. My drug? Ruining experiences for myself by stretching them so thin I make myself wanna exercise instead. I never finished Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I tried, and I got really close, but I stopped almost directly before the final act. Now, some of this game's stretching of content was self-inflicted. Far too often does it task you with mainline quests that are side quest quality. It poorly paces the rollout of extra content in a way that encourages you to stop mainline progression for hours on end. There is a lot to do in this game, and after a certain point, I could not bring myself to care about it at all. I could have skipped a lot of it though, if I had wanted to. Moreover, I could have consolidated the length of a lot of it by not requiring myself to explore every nook and cranny of every map as soon as I got there. If it's making me hate to play the game, I don't have to do it. But that's just a bad habit of mine. What if the one thing I decide to skip in a playthrough ends up being the key to unlocking a better ending, or a new party member, or class, or item? There's a good chance I won't play through the game again for a real long time, so I might as well do everything! Sometimes this is great. Some games diversify the content and manage the amount well enough that I feel encouraged to go out and do everything, really scrub a chunk of my plate clean. But Xenoblade 3 really failed to fuel that fire under me, and knowing that I had abandoned the game cast a weird shadow over trying to get into any other game, and because of it, I could never in good conscience go on to the DLC I was super excited for. Oh, you want to play Final Fantasy 16? That's based in Phantom Tax and all, but no one misses you. What if they all die in the end? What if the end credits reveal that it was a true story all along? You'll never know. Quitter. Same thing happened with Tears of the Kingdom. Only psychos 100% these games. I don't even know why I tried. When I played Breath of the Wild, I didn't feel the need to scrub clean every single inch of every area of the map, doing everything at once. But by the time its significantly denser sequel came out, my habits had changed for the worse. Somehow I managed to plug almost 100 hours into this game, never traveling south and getting like 5 of the story cutscenes. And man, you know what? This one really bugs me. Like, a lot. This game was great. It was a landmark title. Why did I let myself ruin it? Well, there is another reason that played into Tears of the Kingdom specifically, and that's a larger problem that I have with the modern video game industry. Part 3. Buy product, play product, eat product, buy product. I'm busy. I'm a busy boy. I'm lucky if I beat a handful of games a year simply because of time. And when I have the free time to dig into a game, I probably look something like this. Having minimal time to play games on top of having energy levels more chaotic than this little freak doesn't always lend to productivity. It's just my life, and I deal with it the best that I can. But that does make the times when I sink into a game all the more special, when I begin to feel the euphoric sensation of sinking into my chair, ready to absolutely adore an experience. Buy new product! Buy new product. Hey, looking for something fresh? Could you please play me? I'm rotting away. Game hopping. What a horrible existence. It's like cheating on your wife. I just can't stop. I'll set out to play a game on my Switch, a game on my PlayStation, and a game for a video. That's 3 games at once, provided those categories don't overlap. Then I might cut the number down, or add like a random curveball into the play sections, like an NES, or a Game Boy game, something more akin to comfort food. I wrote a script about my attempts to focus in on completing games as one of my first ever YouTube scripts, but scrapped it because I got distracted by other scripts. Do you think this process works for me? Maybe one game will take up more time than the others, and you'll begin to lean off another game, only to go back a month later, not remembering anything that was going on. This is unfortunately what happened to Final Fantasy 16. I left for 20 minutes, forgot who was doing what, and who was where, and why is she so gosh dang pretty? She's a bunch of colored dots on a light up coffee table mounted to my wall. Heck, I think I've made this mistake like 3 or 4 times with Tales of Vesperia. I'll be loving the game, but get a little bit burned out, take a week break for a month, come back, and have absolutely no idea what was possibly going on. Now, I think that realistically says more about the game than me, but it still wouldn't be a problem if I simply picked up a game and beat it without feeling the need to put a little bit of space in the relationship. This video kind of serves to explain why so many of the big games I should have talked about last year ended up not getting videos. In 2023, this channel took off in a way that I never could have possibly expected, and it was also a year filled to the brim with phenomenal, overlapping, long releases, and I just didn't have the time to finish any of them, which, in all honesty, kind of sucks, but I guess I'll just have to make the videos this year. Maybe. Goal number 1, finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Grandia. Get those out of the way. I don't want them here anymore. Goal 2, finish both my playthroughs of Star Ocean 2, talk about them at extreme length. Step 3, buy new product